ostrich egg looks like a giant dinosaur egg, and you can.
It looks like a dinosaur
It's
egg.
big.
Ostriches look like dinosaurs. Are
They
you kidding?
do.
Yeah,
They do, yeah.
they're basically
Well,
dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs
If
came
an
from birds.
Ostrich
Birds came from
kissed
dinosaurs.
you.
That'd be wild.
Dinosaurs came from. What if birds started changing? Pigeon.
We're going back.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to AITA Pod. AITA_pod. Shannon changed our Instagram handle now.
Yeah, it looks cleaner.
That's some drama. It looks cleaner, she says.
Drama.
That's our drama, which is good. That's our little drams. Little group drama.
Little juice.
Little juicy juice. Does
Little
anybody
juice.
have any updates? I think I already said all my bullshit already. You know.
Yes. Today is my 2-year no alcohol drinking.
Congrats.
That's
Happy
awesome.
birthday to you and yours.
Thank you.
So proud of you. That's fucking rad.
It's been great.
What are you doing? Are you doing anything to celebrate? What's the plan, Shan? Ooh, that's fun.
Oh, I like that.
What's the plan, Shan?
Oh yeah, that's good.
That's good.
Nothing really. I mean, I'm here recording with you guys.
What a way to celebrate.
What a bummer. What an absolute.
Is it easy at this point? Is it just kind of, is it something that you don't really think about anymore? What was kind of the timeline progression of that?
I don't think about it that often.
Okay.
And the only time I really do is when I'm like out partying.
Sure, yeah.
And it's kind of like when the most of the times where I really want it is when I'm like wanting to go out and I'm like tired.
Okay.
And I'm like needing to like pick up steam or something.
It's hard to keep up
Yeah.
with the drinkers.
And I'm like, oh, like if I could only just have like a tequila shot right now, I'd be
Yeah.
like, woohoo.
Right.
But normally I smoke weed.
Yeah.
And I actually like really enjoy being social with weed.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
a lot of people are like in the couch, but I love
Yeah,
it. I
that's
actually
good.
don't really like smoking weed and just like chilling by myself. I'm like calling people like, all right, let's hang out, or will you talk to me?
Wow.
So I like being social with it. But I actually have been thinking recently, and I think it's a bad thought, but maybe not, is that like maybe now that I've reached the 2-year mark, like maybe just like giving it a try and like having like a couple of glasses of wine or
Oh,
something.
no.
But,
What? No, don't do that.
well, I don't know. I kind of
your
want to like
life.
just try it out and just see what it feels like to be like drunk again and just like, I don't know. I've been having those cravings.
I don't know enough about the
Yikes.
process for it. And Danny, you seem to have a very strong opinion on it there, but I don't think I'm privy enough to really have a strong take. I think people know themselves, and I have known people in the past who have gone from having problems with alcohol to really reining it back and figuring themselves out and genuinely not having issues with it anymore.
Yeah.
But still drinking on occasion.
Yeah.
I haven't met that many people who do that, but they are out there. So
Yeah.
I think everybody kind of knows themselves, but I guess be careful.
You're right. I think, you seem like you're pretty serious about being a non-drinker. I don't know. It's pretty unusual. I do have one friend who does it, and as far as I know, he hasn't had any incidents. He kind of walked it back. I just feel like, look, I don't drink. I feel alcohol is just a uniquely awful drug, and it makes it's the only drug I feel that really impairs your judgment like right away. I feel like I'm a different person on just even 3 beers, you know, and then
That's interesting.
the more you have, right? Like I feel like,
Well, no, because I don't feel that at all.
well, Jake,
Not with 3 beers. I'm saying like my go-to drink at a party is White Claw with vodka. Jakey Tuesday. It's classic. Yes, I know.
That sounds good.
If you have the equivalent of what, 5 drinks,
If
wouldn't you say
but I don't feel like that's the thing. Is
it
that
impairs your
alcohol-
judgment?
I don't think it
Oh, well,
impairs my
yeah.
judgment. I think it impairs my motor skills. I don't have impulses to do bad ideas. I don't drunk dial people. I don't drunk text. The only time I'll drunk text is if I know somebody that I is personally going through a hard time or whatever. I will tend to send them like, hey, I really believe in you. Like you're great. I'll tell everybody how awesome I think they are. But I've never been a problem drinker.
Well,
in
that's
the sense
great.
that I'm
I'm not here to
drunk.
say everybody is
Right.
a problem drinker.
Yeah.
But
But
I just feel like most people, there's a reason drug text is a phrase and not marijuana high text isn't. You know,
well,
like,
no, I will
high
text my
text.
friends hi. I'm just like,
Yeah, but that's not a thing.
You ever think about how ostriches look like
right, because
dinosaurs?
it's
That's a high
benign.
text.
Because it's benign. Nobody cares. Like
Right.
a high text is like, you're annoying me because I'm trying to sleep and you're texting me about dinosaurs. You know, a drunk text is like, oh, now you're back involved with your ex and they slept the night. You know,
Yeah.
like it's
Right.
horrible.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I'd be worried about is that I would then like black out and do that cycle again. I'm not worried about like drinking and then like going on a month bender or like, oh no, I'm not going to be able to quit again. Like that wasn't my problem with alcohol. My problem was the blacking out, and I made a lot of mistakes on blacking out. So that's why I don't think it's really like a good idea to necessarily like open up that can of worms again.
Yeah.
But like maybe in a controlled environment or something. I don't know. I've just been like,
get in a straitjacket and have some shots.
yeah, exactly.
And we'll film it. That's good content.
It is good content.
That's terrifying. That's some Werner Herzog shit.
Yeah, I don't know, Shannon. I mean, it's your right, but I just I don't know. I don't love this for you. Good luck though.
You don't have to worry about
maintaining,
it.
True.
I think the perspective is maybe like if maintaining the streak is really important to you and you feel like you would be bummed out if that was broken or 2 years is a heck of a statement. So that could be
well,
a
that's
mark.
why I was thinking like I want to make it to 2 years and then just kind of like reevaluate if maybe I could like casually do it every now and then. I don't know. I have no idea.
2 years has been a goal. That was something
kind of
okay.
like maybe subconsciously it wasn't like definitively 2 years for sure, but it was kind of like if I could like I can make it 2 years and I don't ever want to go back to being like I'm drinking every weekend again.
Right.
But like I don't know. It's just like been something I've been toying with and I don't know if I'm gonna do it or not, but it's just been something I'm thinking about.
Well, we'll see what happens. We do have
maybe I'll do it on the pod. Just kidding.
Oh God!
Whatever happens,
Danny would be so depressed if we did a pod where we just get drunk. I can't
wasted.
imagine he would like that at all.
No, we're not doing that.
We're not doing that.
If just Shannon got drunk at the end of a day, I guess. But I wouldn't do that now because I don't know. I'm just not. This is not something I feel comfortable endorsing. But Shannon, it's your life. You do you. I mean, that's a lesson I actually learned this week. I was worried about a friend, and I was like, I told some people, and they're like, "Why worry about it? It's not your problem." And I was like, "You're right. They're an adult. There's nothing I can do."
Yeah.
I think that's a maturity thing. It's just like, what are you gonna fucking do? They're a fucking grown person. If Shannon wants to get blackout drunk and again steal from the Panda Express and start her own tiny Panda Express in the Panda Express bathroom like she did last time.
Yeah, you invoked squatters' rights.
Yeah, she lived there for 4 days.
So was I selling the Panda Express that I bought?
Yeah, exactly.
I was selling
That's why
it
it
in
was
the
tiny.
bathroom.
You were
Panda
undercutting
Express.
Panda Express. You weren't actually making a profit. That was the primary issue. You also had stolen a bunch of Baja Blast from Taco Bell. That was helping you break even because everybody's like, orange chicken and Baja Blast? How can I lose?
You know what? This reminded me of a real Casa Grande story. This is one of the fucking classics.
What?
This shit is real. So do you guys remember the Monopoly game they do?
Yeah.
Monopoly pieces are, I forget how it pans out, but they're there's like ones that are coupons, but some are actually have like a cash value. And then obviously there's like some big prizes. I can't really remember.
Have you seen the documentary about
it? Pans out. Yeah. Wasn't there?
The mafia overrode it. It became a total scam. It was basically just a way to launder money.
I think that was peak Monopoly, if I remember right. But anyway, there was a sweet spot year when it was still like getting revved up.
Right.
And there was these people who broke into like the Coolidge, which is like Coolidge is the town Casa Grande makes fun of. And they it was like stored in like a shed or something behind the McDonald's. And they like straight up broke in and stole like all the fucking cups and everything. And it was like the great McDonald's heist.
Really? Why the cups?
Because the cups had the little like tabs.
The Monopoly.
So they stole the Monopoly
I forgot the
pieces.
cups had them on there. I always remember the French fries.
Which is really, it's silly to do that because every location only got so many coupons of winning things. So you're just stealing a bunch of useless ones. And then maybe you're going, I guess in your mind, it's easier to say that you have a higher chance of getting the $1 million one or the car or whatever.
I mean, they had thousands,
but
right?
also
they had a lot.
They specifically, part of the way that this worked was they were specifically tracking where all those pieces
went.
No,
this was before that.
Okay.
I remember that they told me this was a golden zone where it hadn't become like super well known yet. It was like maybe the second year they did it.
Okay.
And so they hit the sweet spot, and I think somebody told me it was worth like $30,000 how they were able to extract it.
Oh wow.
Hard money to launder though. I got McDonald's cash.
It's McDonald's monies?
Yeah.
You brought McDonald's monies to
not
my
even
place of
Monopoly money.
establishment?
This is McDonald's money. This is 2 layers deep. We got some great little write-ins here. Big fan, writes Gianna. I don't usually like pods because I think they're boring, but this one's good. Okay.
Wow.
She hates the whole genre, but not us. Past few months, I've been depressed, but since I found this pod, it's helped me a lot. I listen to it on my way to work. I'll say I do have a bone to pick with you, Danny, for shitting on Dunkin' in episode 261. I love their refreshers, but yeah, I love the pod and always have fun listening to your banner. Well, thanks, Gianna.
Actually, my boyfriend just said that he thinks Dunkin' coffee is the best coffee ever that he's ever had. This is like the first time he ever really has had Dunkin'. It's across from his office, and he is like, I've never felt better.
The rage in Danny's eyes right now is palpable.
Is it any good? Have you tried it?
I have pity. Yeah, of course I've tried it. I mean, there's a Dunkin' Donuts on every street in New York City. It's like disgusting. I mean,
East Coast loves
I don't
its
think
stuff.
I've ever had the coffee there.
Yeah,
I've had their cold brew.
I think
It's fine.
Well, he says
fine.
that the feeling of it, like whatever the caffeine, like whatever caffeine content is in it, he's like, I am like on one. I am working. I am wheeling. I am
yeah, it is
dealing.
strong. Okay, so he likes the strength.
Yeah, he likes
I
the
can live with
strong.
that. It's a little bit weird that he put it that way, but whatever. Another comment. Hey, Danny, Shannon, and Jake. I really just want to say thank you for the pod.
Hello.
You guys have me laughing out loud at work.
Woohoo!
Also, I appreciate you guys responding to Submish, the one where parents had to go to therapy.
Oh,
Anyway, sorry to bug you again, but this podcast is awesome and helps me get through some bad days.
You are never bugging us.
Never bugging us.
Thank you for writing in. I hope that situation is starting to get to a better place.
I know. I'm interested. Right? Write us in and let us know what's the update.
I think they gave us a little follow up right
They
after
did?
we did it. I think we got
I think
an
they
update.
went. I think they. I think they
so
did.
would love to hear when that has panned out more in your favor.
We're going to start this app here with just a little pop culture thing. Apparently, this went viral on Reddit. AITA for breaking up with my boyfriend over the Tubi Super Bowl commercial. I, 23F, broke up with my boyfriend, 25M, over the reaction he had to me over the commercial. For those of you who are unaware, during the Super Bowl commercials, Tubi, a streaming app, played a prank where they made it look like someone was changing the TV over to their app. I'm sure that in many households it caused chaos and was a funny event, but not in mine. My boyfriend thought I was the one changing the channel and began screaming at me violently, calling me things I don't even want to write down. Even as I told him it was a commercial, he ignored me and kept blowing up at me and punched a hole in our living room wall. He eventually realized what actually happened and awkwardly apologized, but I was so disgusted over his reaction to a 15-second commercial. I feel like if you can't keep your anger in check and get that violent over something so small, I don't want to be around for it. We've been together for over a year, living together for the past 2 months, and I've known him to get angry at things sometimes, but this really took me off guard, and I can't forget how unsafe I felt around him during this. In the morning, I took some of my things, and I'm now staying at my parents' house. I left him a note telling him how I felt, and I didn't think we were going to work out long term. He's been messaging and calling repeatedly. My parents told me that I'm overreacting since he had a bit to drink and the Super Bowl gets everyone riled up, but I don't feel I am. I don't think it's normal to be that angry. AITA.
I love that the parents are coming in. Fuck these parents coming in with the, oh, well, come on, forgive him. He was drunk. Like, that doesn't make it worse. It's ridiculous. Like, fucking hell. That commercial was so obviously a commercial,
Yeah,
too.
I didn't see it in the moment. Did you?
Yeah, I did. And it was I knew exactly what they were doing. And honestly, I've seen a lot of videos of people having reactions, not this extreme, but similar.
Oh, really?
I think it's kind of an intelligence test. If you saw this and genuinely thought somebody, also like punching a hole in the wall is one of the
Oh my God.
biggest it's the king of red flags.
What an overreaction.
It's not even red flags. It's just violence directed at something that isn't a
myself.
person.
I did actually freak out a past ex over this. And it was because I always get packages from Amazon. It was never a problem. Get my package is never a problem. And then I was waiting. I forgot what it was. I was waiting for one very specific thing from a UP fucking S.
Oh,
and
our
they didn't
favorite.
call. They didn't do shit. And of course, I missed the package delivery. And then it was like, 3 tries, you're fucked. And I punched my couch a bunch. And she was like, "That's just crazy. I don't know what that is."
No, it's a lot to watch. And I will also, when I've mentioned I've had in the past, I've had issues with my anger. I have punched one wall. I didn't punch through a wall. I didn't punch it, but it was like a really damaging thing for anybody who saw it. It's scary to see somebody do that. And I felt terrible after. It was one of the things that got me into therapy initially.
I mean, I don't know. I think sometimes having a physical reaction, I think punching a hole in the wall, that's causing damage. That's, to me, crosses a huge line over nothing.
And also, it was like 15 seconds long. So you got that angry. Like, you went from like 0 to 60 in 3.5. Like, it was the quickest time and you were already that angry.
How stupid did he feel when he realized it was a
Oh
commercial.
my God. I can't even imagine how fucking stupid he felt.
I honestly would have moved. I would have just moved after doing that.
She basically is like, I am moving.
Yeah, no,
Didn't
she's
she
out.
bounce? No, I think
bounced.
she stayed that
I
night.
get this. I mean, look, I think punching a couch is because UPS made you mad. It's not a good look. It's not something I make a habit of doing, but it's understandable. It's also like a series of interactions, not one interaction.
Right.
And I'm just
and
like,
you weren't damaging the couch.
I didn't damage anything. And
Although
like,
you might have with your big mussies.
oh, thank you,
Big strong
Shannon.
mussies.
There we go. Shannon's
Danny
changing her
hurting
tone.
please don't hurt the couch
now.
with your big strong mussies, Danny.
Yeah. So I just think that this is wildly disproportionate. And I also feel like when you're feeling that ick, she caught the ick from this. And
Oh,
I'm
absolutely.
Like, respect that ick. Get the fuck out. I think this is a no-brainer.
Well, I think not even ick, but also like, holy shit, I'm
This
like
is a
feeling
reveal.
a little unsafe.
This is a reveal.
Yeah.
And if it isn't immediately followed by serious self-reflection and work, then I think you should break up with him already. I think that whatever he does to work on himself after this, just dump him now, let him go on that journey
let
on
him
his
figure
own.
it out on his own. And your parents for like, come on, don't justify this shit.
AITA for breaking up with my boyfriend over the Tubi Super Bowl commercial. I think we got no defense to even mount for this freak. Think it's a whopping NTA, and he is. All right, guys, we got one heck of an ep for you today. Our second story of the day, AITA, for telling my girlfriend that she needs to learn when to shut the F up. Yikes! But first, folks, it's AITA for refusing to give my father and his wife money that my father saved for me before he met her. My father married his wife when I was 12, 4 years after my mom died from cancer. My father's wife had a 3-year-old daughter who a year into their marriage was diagnosed with a form of cancer that is tricky to treat. She underwent chemo and radiation, but the treatment did not work. They were told about this alternative treatment that was not offered in any local hospital, and it would require staying someplace else for at least 3 months with her. The treatment itself was also expensive. My father was never wealthy, neither was his wife and her daughter's father, and his family were not in her life. There was only one thing that was easily sold and would make enough money to get started on the journey, and that was my mom's engagement ring. It left to me in her will and was mine. Before my mom, it was her mother and grandmother's ring. My great-grandparents helped someone out, and it was a gift that was then passed down because of its value. It was extra sentimental because my grandma was in a nursing home with dementia at the time, and I had no other living maternal family left. My father decided that could be sold to pay for the treatment. I said no. I begged him not to. He and his wife told me her daughter's life was more important and that it would be selfish to keep a ring and let her die. I told my father I would never forgive him if he sold the ring and that he was stealing from me because it was mine. He went ahead and sold it anyway, and I stayed true to my word. I never forgave them. I moved out in March before turning 18 and cut them out of my life. I still hate the two of them and wanted nothing more to do with them again. My father tried to stay in my life, but I told him I hoped he knew he lost his daughter, me, and that I wish it had been him to die instead of my mom. Wow. My wife's daughter's cancer has returned, and now they want money that my dad saved for me before he married her. It's not a lot at all, but I guess they still have lingering stuff from when she was sick before. I told him I would not give him the money, and the fact he would ask for it showed he didn't give a shit about me. His wife told me that it's not about me. It's about saving her daughter's life and me being hung up on losing a ring that went on to save the life of a child. I told her that ring meant more to me than they did and that I would not give them any money, so they needed to leave me alone and figure out another plan. My father's parents got involved, and I ended up deleting most of my social media and ignoring them. But then I saw my father's wife while I was grabbing groceries, and she told me I'm evil and sick and twisted, and I should be ashamed of myself. I don't know if I'm just worn me down or what, but I feel like I need to ask. AITA.
Sick kid always complicates things.
Yeah.
That does add some weight here. Mm-hmm. It's like the only situation where this isn't open and shut for me.
Yeah, on Reddit, there was so many differing opinions on this one. So I thought that was an interesting one to bring in and see what we think, because it's tough.
Don't love OP's odds here. I mean, it is pretty nasty talk to be like,
yeah,
I want my ring more than you. Jake, isn't there a pop culture reference here?
Stupid frat hopelessness.
His face. I'm scared of him right now. He looks so evil. I can't understand a word that
Oh my God, you
motherfucker
should
says.
play a villain in a movie.
That would be
honestly,
great.
that scared me.
I like that. That
Don't
was
listen to
scary.
him, Mr. Frodo.
There we go.
He ate all the bread.
Back to protagonist.
Wise master. Yeah, I do a good Gollum.
New from
Yeah,
New
you
York.
do.
NTA, tell her she is lucky you did not file a police report against your dad, right? Because so the dad basically sold the ring out from under her. Is that my understanding, right? The
Yes.
ring was passed to her legally, so the dad effectively stole it. I mean, it's fucking hard for me to be like, yeah, that's messed up. Because it's like, dude, he sold it to give a girl, like there was gonna medical debt in this
Yeah, it
country.
wasn't in
Yeah.
vain.
And
Yeah.
I mean, she does not come off well.
No, this is really self-centered. I understand being frustrated. I understand wanting to hold on to something that was given to you.
And your mom died, but also your mom died from cancer. And if you could give the opportunity to save somebody else
Really
from
poetic.
Cancer,
Really poetic.
I feel like that's what her
Give
mom
her a
would have
fighting
wanted.
chance. Yeah, and I think too, like material possession ultimately, regardless of how important and sentimental it is to you. Like I have one of my grandfather's rings in my in a case in my room, and I love that ring. But if it for some reason was capable of helping giving somebody anybody a fighting chance, I'd probably put my personal stuff to the side on that one.
I think so too. And I think you would honestly feel good doing it. I think I can understand where she's coming from when it wasn't like the choice wasn't really given to her at all. The dad kind of just took it. And maybe if she had a little bit more say in it, perhaps. But
This is definitely not. This is an NTA majority by a lot on
but
Reddit.
if you scroll down, there's a lot of
I
YTAs.
did find a YTA here.
I
This
know,
is
it
the
is.
highest upvoted one. I can't believe how many people are putting a stupid ring over the life of a child. I get that it sucks something precious to you is sold that had memories attached, but a kid would have died otherwise. See, I think let's maybe push back on that. That's usually not how it works. It's not that a kid would have died. It's not true. They will give you medical treatment. They will.
Right.
You'll be in medical debt, and that'll fuck up
Right.
your life. But the notion that she would have been killing the child is not true.
This also isn't
Yeah.
paying off the whole debt. This is helping.
It's helping.
It's a contribution.
Can only imagine that the ring costs like $10,000 or like less than 20.
Right.
It probably wasn't like that.
Honestly,
that much of a.
With that reframe, I actually do think OP starts to look a lot better. Because it's like they frame this as you want the ring and not the life of a child. And it's like, no. You want the ring instead of the medical debt. And it's my fucking ring.
I see what you're saying. I see what
Isn't
you're
that
saying.
true?
And I was thinking that when it was being read, but I'm still coming back to the fact that there's a morality test here of are you what's most important to you? And I would hope that it would be doing the right thing and helping a kid out. But you're clearly
Why? No. You're getting caught in that frame. That's not true. The kid would have received medical as much as the medical care system is fucked up, but they don't charge you first. They charge you later. You will get the medical care done. They will do it. They won't let you die at a hospital. Absolutely not.
Well, and I think there's also other solutions. Like they could have done a GoFundMe and tried to, I don't know,
Which is so
maybe if they have
dystopian.
cars
I hate
that they
when
could
people have
get
to
rid
do
of.
GoFundMes
I
for that. And
know.
I'm not against them. Obviously, it's like what
Right.
you have to do, but it just breaks my heart every time I see it because that
Right.
shouldn't be how this has to work. It's real. This is a complicated one.
I know.
I'm straight. I become straight on it. I think that this is a no brainer. I'm going with
Really?
Reddit
You're
here.
that far?
Yeah. You can't take somebody else's thing just because you don't want to have medical debt. I don't think that's fair. And it was her thing, and it was an heirloom.
But
it belonged to her. She was sentimental about it. You can't just go, well, I don't want medical debt. And it's like, I'm sorry, but it's your daughter. You've got to take on the medical debt. It sucks. I could blame the system, but to just take her thing, if it was money, it would be the same thing.
The angle you're bringing is interesting,
Yeah.
and I genuinely don't know. Like, I think I have to take your word for it in this situation that in this case there would, they would get the medical care regardless.
There's no such thing.
There's
literally no such thing
Okay.
as I've never heard in my entire life, well, we can't pay for it, and so they won't do it. No, it's they will do it. Now, good luck. Now you're fucked, right? And people do get fucked by it, but the whole framing of a kid would have died, that's not how it works.
I think knowing, do they mention the actual worth of the ring? Because that does kind of have an impact on this for me.
No.
If this clears,
It's probably 20 grand.
If
I mean,
this
even
clears
50 grand,
most
the
of it-
average ring.
if this clears a lot of it, like, because you're not just helping the parents there, like the parents are still going to be financially responsible for this kid. So you are helping the well-being of the child's life by preventing them from living in a household with a bunch of medical debt.
That's not her problem, though.
No, it is her problem because she's going to have to live in a household with limited finances for however long. They're going to be tied to this debt forever, and that is directly going to impact this child who's already in hell.
But that threw me for a second.
Well,
you mean metaphorical hell?
Yeah.
I was like, wait,
that's on me.
Who's dead?
Metaphorical hell because cancer sucks.
I think that the thing is the way that they have repeatedly framed this as it was your ring or let the child die, which is manipulative and not true. And if it had been, look, my child, we had to sell your ring because otherwise we might have been homeless, I would have a very different tone. But that was never how this was put. And they just wanted to do what they wanted to do, and they sold their fucking ring, you know. And I would actually even go farther and say this could be a justified asshole on their part because you're not wrong.
That's an interesting
I hear
ruling.
your point. I hear your point. But I think the fact that they did attack her and were a little bit like, you want a child to die? It's like, no,
They
I
were
want
being
my
very
ring.
manipulative.
There's nuance here. It's
Because
not.
there's other ways you should go. You can, as I was mentioning before, go about getting money, loans, anything. And you are essentially choosing this other, your stepdaughter over your daughter's feelings. And I know that her being sick is so much greater than like her just wanting her grandmother or her mom's ring, but that's probably one of the only things she has left of her mom. And there are other ways for you to pay for this medical.
And it sounds like they didn't even
procedures.
try.
Right.
It sounds like they didn't even try.
It just sounds like they didn't.
They saw an easy solution. They went for it because they didn't respect it. They didn't respect it that it was hers.
They're also breaking one of my big things, which is I do think bad pitches, bad presentation, bad approach to complicated situations. Adults are responsible for that. And I think that coming at it, Danny, you make a good point. Coming at it from it's the ring or the child dies, that is a really bad approach to this situation. And if you stopped and thought about it for a second, this is really coming off like a lot of adults unable to put their beefs with each other to the side for the greater good of the village. And that sucks. So I hear you on the justified asshole. I think that that's interesting because there is a lot of selfishness at the center of this, but you make a great argument about why somebody would respond that way. I'm kind of leaning towards an ESH here at this point, and I feel really sorry for the kid because I think there's a lot of mistakes being made all around. But the justified asshole thing's interesting.
AITA for refusing to give my father and his wife money that my father saved for me before he met her. I think we can maybe meet on not the asshole, and they are, but they might be a justified asshole. Because they were obviously in a pinch. I think that's fair to say.
I like justified asshole more than not the asshole. Just simply because by definition, there's the selfish want here. That is why you're doing this.
That's not selfish I think that's an unfair characterization. When somebody leaves you something in their will, that's yours. It's not selfish to insist that you get what's left to you. That's not selfish. That's just how it works, baby.
That's not the part that's selfish to me. The part that's selfish to me is that this is clearly about proving a point to the parents. And it's maybe 50-50 about the ring and also about sticking it to these people that she despises.
Well, she despises them because they blatantly disrespected her. I mean,
Yeah, I don't think she despised them before, though.
Really? I thought it sounded like...
No, I think she was had a fine relationship with her father before.
she cut him right out. Where are we, guys? I'm at not the asshole, and they are, but they might be justified assholes. That's where I am at here.
I'm kind of ESH.
It's just such a shitty situation all around, and I think everybody's putting the kid last.
I can't call this girl an asshole. If somebody leaves you something in their will, that's yours. And for the parents,
You're right.
to just
You're right about that.
fully override that, and just because they don't want medical debt, they're fucking assholes. Even if they had asked her and then been like, honestly, we were being disingenuous when we asked because we genuinely cannot afford to raise you. But see, that's the other thing I'm not clear on.
The medical debt affects the kids. The
My
medical debt
father's
will
wife
affect
had
the
a
kid.
3-year-old daughter who a year into their marriage was diagnosed with a form of cancer that's tricky to treat. Yeah, I can't come for OP because it's like, so you married someone who has a sick daughter and now you're going to use my money? That's just not fair.
That's not
That's
fair.
just not fucking fair. I would be fucking pissed too.
Yeah, there's boundary
Use
crossing.
your own fucking money. You wanted to marry someone who
You're
is
swaying
in this
me.
situation. I
There's
feel
a,
like
there's
dog,
a
that's
lot
on
of
you.
boundary crossing here. There's a lot of inappropriate behavior. And the only thing, I'm retracting because I think I'm thinking of selfish. I don't think selfish is always a bad word. I think selfish can be a good thing. But I think that
it's not selfish to want what's due to you. If I'm like, Jake, will you lend me $100? And you're like, hey, dude, where's my $100? Oh, you're being selfish, Jake. You're being. It's like, no, dude, I owe you that $100. And just like she was owed the ring, that was the agreement. Her mother wanted her to have it.
I guess I'm defining selfish acts of like I think of working out as a selfish act because you're focusing on yourself. It's not a bad thing to do it. Doesn't mean it's bad. I think
I
we
would say
just
self-oriented, but
I think that we're getting into semantics here and running around the tree. You've swayed me. I think that
we can do a justified asshole.
Yeah, justified asshole on the parents.
NTA and their justified assholes. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Please join us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. We got, I think, over 150 bonus episodes.
Lousy with bonus episodes.
What?
Lousy with bonus episodes. Like, no, this
lousy.
Yeah, you've never heard that? I love that expression.
I've never heard it like that.
My fridge is lousy with Topo Chico. Take all you want.
When you have a lot of something, it's an expression.
Okay, it doesn't
I got plenty to spare.
good.
Lousy with them.
Yeah, I love that. I love
the
that.
episodes themselves are not
They're great.
lousy.
They're great. We're just lousy with the
What
quality.
are you saying,
we got.
Shannon? What are you fucking saying? Please support us on Patreon. All right, guys, here we go. AITA for telling my girlfriend that she needs to learn when to shut the F up. I am 24, have been dating my GF F23 for 5 months. Every other month, my grandmother hosts a large family dinner with all my close relatives. She encouraged me to invite my girlfriend over for the dinner yesterday. For some context, my entire family and I are black, and my girlfriend is from a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant fam. I was at the dinner yesterday, and I went to go hang out with my niece, F7, who I'm very fond of, and the rest of the kids to play Monopoly. My girlfriend tagged along. My niece was counting the play money to pass out to everyone, and one of the other kids said something about how he wanted to be rich and get all the $500 bills. My niece, out of nowhere, blurted out she couldn't be rich because she's an N-word. Whoa. I was totally taken aback and asked her who told her that. Apparently, some bully at school said that to her on a career day when they were sharing dream jobs, and she said she wanted to be a rich president. I told her that wasn't true at all and hugged her, and she started crying. Then my girlfriend jumped in and told my niece that it's really important to forgive the boy who said that because he probably wasn't trying to be mean and was just confused. I was totally shocked and told her she needs to stop trying to justify what happened. She then tried to hush me and started baby talking my niece and that said she should also try to be nicer to all the kids at school because kindness goes both ways. I was totally livid at this point and pulled my girlfriend aside and quietly but angrily told her she, quote, needs to learn when to shut the fuck up. She started getting riled up at me and started rambling about how statistics are on her side. Oh, no. But I told her to get out of my grandma's home and just leave. She drove me in her car and I was planning to hitch a ride. This morning, I got multiple calls from my girlfriend's sisters calling me abusive and a shitty prick. I know my words were harsh, but I thought my girlfriend was talking in a disgusting manner to my niece. Okay, so just to revisit this, entire family and OP are black, and girlfriend is from a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant family. Mm-hmm. Oh, man.
There's so much fucked up about this. If you are ever in anyone else's home, regardless of any other detail, you don't need to get involved in stuff like this. You follow the lead. The fact that all these other details are involved, the tastiest, stinkiest fuck you to this girlfriend that I can muster from the bowels of my stomach.
Yeah, I think the only defense I have for her, she is 23, but
that's old enough to not do that.
Especially this day and age. Come on.
You understand. Also, there's a red flag. There's a dog whistle word in there where she immediately goes through statistics. What fucking statistics are you talking about?
Racist statistics.
That is such Fox News style pitching of like, oh, well, it's not a bad thing to think this because look at these statistics, and it'll be some bullshit number that's got a million different cooked elements to it. But she's just pulling something out of thin air of like, what statistics do you have on kids saying racist shit to each other in the playground?
It's just not your turn to fucking talk.
Yeah.
It's really just that simple.
You go to tell you what you do. You can go to any other room in the house. You can go to the bathroom. You can go to the kitchen. You can go to the backyard. Heck, go to the closet and find anything for you to do while that is happening because you don't need to be involved.
Unless you're just reiterating what your boyfriend's saying.
Yeah.
I don't even I don't even think that's appropriate. It's like, you're not married to this guy. This isn't your position.
You just got here.
Be comfortable, maybe like comforting to her. Be like, it's okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Hold her. But like, it's just not your fucking place. And this is classic, like, white women.
I think what you do is you exit the room, you let that happen, and then through the night you organically, because kids pick up when you're just trying to engage with them. They know when you're treating them like a kid, which is also what she did, which is a huge whiff.
Right.
Like they clock that. Yeah, they clock that shit.
Yeah.
So I think what you do is you remove yourself from that, and then later on in the evening you organically create an opportunity to bond with her and show kindness and show excitement about who she is. Build her self-esteem back up.
But just immediately taking the white kid's side and saying that you need to forgive
Kindness
him.
goes both ways.
Why
are we there?
Yeah.
That's such a weird way to go.
And honestly, it's not even like the little girl was like coming at him hard or anything. If anything, she took his words to heart and was believing
that
him.
was the first time she had shared that with anybody, and the fact that like she started crying after she said it. She had been holding that in. That was a really painful thing for her to hear and sit with. And man, this is just so upsetting. And I think you crossed so many boundaries, or the girlfriend crossed so many boundaries. I think the sister's reactions is really telling. I think it's a safe reach.
Abusive and a shitty prick.
I think they come from a racist family, and I think that they have a lot of people in the family who say shitty stuff because you're echoing whatever you learned from your parents.
And it's probably microaggressions too. It's not like outward racism. So then they're like, we're not racist. My sister is dating a black guy.
Dump her big time. I can't imagine anybody defending this. STFU Barnes too, right? She's a white girl. In situations like this, her instinct is to jump to put herself in the shoes of the white person, not the little black girl. She felt she had to defend the white kid the way she would want to be defended if she did something like that. It's a reaction that is kind of automatic, but the decent people have to be aware they have and have to resist acting on. I like that a lot. I think that is a huge human error where we tend to see ourselves in the situations and then emote inappropriately. I think it's pretty obvious you defer to a black person when it comes to racial issues just because that's their shit. But honestly, not even going to a racial layer, it's like that's his family.
Yeah, that's right. You can strip this down to the most basic. You can leave out all the context, and she still behaved like an entitled shit.
Right. By taking the little kid that is bullying your boyfriend's niece's side.
There's also a really shitty kind of subversive ego missile in that when she says, it's really important to be nice to all the kids. The implication there is like, well, did you think about what you did to make him say to that? And that's a really
always an awful thing to say to someone, especially if if they're hurting. I mean, this is what I've tried to say is like, if someone's crying or hurt or vulnerable, and I think you nailed this, that this had been like probably sitting on her conscience for some time. This is not the time to start asking questions and break down this incident. Like, obviously she was hurt by this statement. So let's just work our way through that. I think this girl was completely out of whack. I think it's a stereotype, but it's a stereotype for a reason. White women getting offended on other people's behalf. Definitely a thing.
We've all seen that TikTok before.
Worst thing I can say here is that he did say shut the fuck up, which is aggressive. But I think, God damn.
No, if you're not allowed to say shut the fuck up in that environment, when
on
are
a
you
racially charged
you're being
thing.
really considerate if you don't respond aggressively in that. And I don't think that like you responding with justified anger there. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's absurd that her family got roped in. And let's be honest, now I think there was a bit of like, hoo, we get to take shots at him. He came at our sister.
Fuck this girl too. I'm out on her. Any family that operates like this, how dare you? How fucking dare you involve your fucking sisters and then you're gonna have sick the wolf pack on me? Fuck you.
I hate when families get involved in a relationship.
No.
I
So
can't
inappropriate.
imagine any of Max's brothers or my sister ever texting the other one like in defense of us.
That's
like
wild.
it's one thing
impulse.
to like be there for them and like talk it through with them, but it's so childish.
Utterly
It's
childish.
very immature.
Well, me and my sisters think. Okay,
Yeah.
well, me and my brothers think. Fuck off.
Yeah.
I'm seeing
Yeah.
someone
It's
now.
my whole family, as a matter of fact.
yeah,
Looping
truly.
in the flying monkeys, it just shows she's not ready
Whack.
to take responsibility. Totally fucking whack. Fuck her comment about statistics. I think this is a no-brainer. AITA for telling my girlfriend that she needs to learn when to shut the fuck up. She absolutely does. NTA, and she is.
She is.
Strongest of YTAs.
This was a request, by the way, and I only say that because, we are three white people talking about a racial situation.
Yeah.
So somebody wanted us to,
Yeah,
okay?
and thanks for writing in. If anyone else has any situations they want us to do, send them in. AITApod.com.
And join us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod.
And follow us on Instagram
yeah,
and TikTok.
Instagram.
Shannon's crushing our new
Twitter.
Instagram.
Looks
I'm
great.
loving
Yeah,
it.
I've taken over the Instagram. If you message us, you're most likely talking to me or Danny.
All right, folks, we're
It's
gonna
not
wrap
me.
up
They don't
here.
let me on it.
Yeah,
I just keep
Jake's not
posting
allowed.
memes about possums.
We keep Jake in a
That's a
hanger.
liability.
We got Jake in a hanger. We only let him come out once a week for the recording.
It's like that T-Rex in Lost World, the second
Yeah.
Jurassic Park movie. I'm just in that like boat shipment container
Yeah.
that they keep that thing
Bring
in.
the boat to the coast, Shannon. Shannon drives the boat. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up here on AITA for demanding my girlfriend tells me her author's pen name.
Oh, this one.
I am 32, been dating Shaban, F32, for 6 months now.
I thought it was pronounced Saban.
She's always been very vague. I'm not even acknowledging that. She's always been very vague about what Shaban does for a living. Surely it's things like writing and working from home writing. Okay. But recently, one of her friends mentioned something, and I finally dragged it out of her. She's an author. She writes and self-published romance and erotica stories. And while not rich, she makes a living. I Googled her name and couldn't find anything, so I confronted her. She said she's writing under a pen name, so I demanded she give it to me. She refused, saying she doesn't want it to be leaked. Nobody knows. I accused her of not trusting me, and she still refused, which was annoying. I tried a nicer approach, told her I want to know her fantasies so I can try them out with her. She told me that what she writes aren't her fantasies, but her readers, and she's not going to tell me. At night, I tried to check her laptop for a pen name, but she changed her password before bed. I was annoyed and told her she clearly doesn't trust me, and it's not fair because I have a right to know what she writes, especially since it's a sensitive topic, and I don't know her if I don't know her pen name. She was furious that I tried to look on her laptop and told me to go home. Before leaving, I told her when she calls to apologize, I expect her to get the pen name with the apology. She called me an asshole. I thought she'd call, but now she hasn't. My sister told me I was the asshole and I should apologize, but I just don't see it. Second opinion, was I the asshole?
Just the fact that he like thinks he has the right to know it.
Yeah, I think that I really like when I like that there's mystery in the idea of like, yeah, this is this world that you have. This is this world that I don't need access to know you. This is something that you enjoy doing and you like having anonymity to it. I think that's very much within her right as a person to maintain. And look, the stuff that she's writing is clearly like, I have no idea what it's like to be in that creative space to do entire books with that content, but that probably is, I even with a lot of the time, and this isn't even close to the same thing or the same amount of work, but when I'm working on D&D stuff or just tabletop stories, I usually don't share it with Jackie super readily because I just like keeping it to myself and sort of keeping it in the creative process. And then when it's ready and finished, I'm a little bit more open about it, but it's kind of my thing. And it's not something that I feel like I need to divulge with my partner.
Right.
If she was demanding to know twists and turns in the story I'm telling, I'd be kind of turned off by that.
Totally.
This is just for me. I can have
controlling.
that.
Yeah, same. Like with a lot of my performing, there's times where I'm like, I ask my boyfriend, like, don't come. It's not ready.
Sure.
I don't want you to see this performance.
Yeah,
and then there's
yeah.
other ones where I'm like, yeah, sure, you can come to this one. But a lot of times, it's just vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
It's really vulnerable. And I don't think I would want him to necessarily be reading all of my writing either.
Right.
And maybe because it's erotica, he thinks he's more entitled to it because it has something to do with sex, and
I bet
obviously
he's
they share a
concerned that
sex
she's
life.
describing his dick in the books.
I
I bet he
I
has
can
a
see
very
that.
specific dick, and he knows that he'll know
It's a
if
little
it's
curved at the
right.
end.
little left hook. I think that he has boundary issues. People who get very angry about boundaries usually have struggled with boundaries themselves. They have poor boundaries with their parents, and boundaries are very hurtful for them. I've experienced this. You say, like,
I can see that.
I don't want to tell you that right now, and they start to freak out. And it's like, you have a right to do that. You have a right to not tell anybody whatever you want.
Right.
I think the fact that this also, of all the things to want hidden, like, is it any surprise she doesn't want her erotica pen name to be public and known? And you've only been with her for 6 months. Now,
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
it's too soon. I
Way
would
too
say
soon.
after a couple of years, I think it would be normal then. And I wouldn't say it's a requirement or there's anything wrong with it, but I would probably be like, I would like to know more about how you earn your income if I'm going to, like, marry you or be in
Sure.
a serious long-term relationship.
Finance talks are important.
Yeah, and like, I think it would just be like, I literally don't know what you do for a living. I think that would be very bothersome for people, and it might be a deal breaker, but she doesn't have to tell you shit. And I also think it is spicy. You know, and a lot of Esther Perel shit, which is the couples therapist. I don't know if I've told you guys about her, but
I know her.
One of the concepts of hers is like these couples that got so fucking close, and it's so unerotic.
Yeah.
It's
There's
so-
some mystery to it that
Exactly.
you need to maintain in order to
You can't
get
be
a little spicy.
You can't be, I mean, I guess you can be sexually attracted to yourself, but with a partner, once you become the same entity, there's not a lot of attraction to be had. You're just this big glob of each other.
That's her theory.
When you maintain individualism, you have something to lust for. You have something to
Yeah.
want. So having those little separations, those little divides, it keeps, that's hot as hell.
I agree.
It really helps maintain
It helps.
attraction for the long run.
Keeps the eroticism. Yeah, this guy's whole thing, and then going into her computer, it's just like, I mean, I can't defend the behavior, but I'm like, this is probably because he has tried to set up boundaries before, and he hasn't been exposed to the fact that you're allowed to say, like, no, I don't want to tell you that. No, mother.
He is clearly terrified of reading one of her books and hearing about her describing somebody's dick as like a wine opener. And it's just, and he's going to know, just like, oh, you did it. You talked about it.
Yeah.
And
I don't know that it comes from insecurity in terms of what's in
I'm
the
joking,
content.
I'm joking around.
No, but I
It's-
do think it's darker almost.
Sure,
That's almost
yeah.
more relatable, where I'm like, oh, he's worried that's about him. But I just feel like it's like control.
Control.
I want to know.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I want to give this my okay because I am the
Yes.
man and my woman is talking of sex
Yeah.
without me.
And then he tried to do some kind of an excuse there of being like, oh, well, I want to know what you wrote because then maybe I can fulfill that erotic need for you. And it was like, no, bitch, you just want to.
At 6 months, you should be more concerned about learning what gifts you should get their parents, or what.
Wait, what?
I don't know.
Not
I'm
on
just-
board for that timeline.
No, I'm just trying to think
6
about like
months?
6 months. If Christmas comes
I
up,
have knit your mother a scarf of
no, come on.
alpaca fur.
If you start dating in June, you're committed in June, and Christmas rolls around, and you're going to Christmas at their house. 6 months to go to Christmas. That's a reasonable
You are
timeline.
walking for this.
No, I'm not. Come
Man,
on.
I'm just very single, man. I can't even. I don't even care what anybody.
Well, look,
wants
let me
for
tell
Christmas.
you nail the gift giving.
Yeah.
Oof. Big
Really?
points. Yeah, with the parents, if you get like a good
yeah,
gift,
yeah, yeah.
they love that.
Here's a sticker. Date Jake. This is the sticker, not Danny, because
Yeah.
I ain't doing none of that shit.
The pod is, well, I mean, you are not single in the regard that the podcast has a girlfriend, which is Jackie.
Yes.
So we do all have that going for
She's
us.
our girlfriend.
AITA for demanding my girlfriend tells me her author's pen name. I think we agree wholeheartedly. It's a whopping YTA, dog.
Yeah, YTA.
Fuck
this guy.
We
Chill
don't
out,
like
go to the
you.
spa, hit the sauna, whatever you got to do to get all the shittiness out of you, like sweat it
Yeah.
out through your pores and try
Break
again,
up with
Buster.
them.
There we go. All right, guys. Well, that's the ep, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Goodbye. I can't keep that note. vote.
Oh, you actually won though.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's not a competition.
Yes, it is.
It is every time. Did you not know that?
Okay.
You've never won. That's why.
Yeah, that's
why he's
why.
mad he's never won.
Okay, Janet, let's calm down.
Janet is evil shake.